Continuing 430, general lubrications procedure. Refer to the Appendix I lubrication instruction for lubrication chart key, localized views, and procedural notes. Hold on. Alright, refer to Appendix I lubrication instruction lubrication chart key with the localized views and procedural notes. Alright, recommended intervals are based on the normal condition operation, temperature, humidity, operating under the extreme conditions. Lubrication should always be changed more frequently. When in doubt, notify your supervisor. Keep all the lubricants in an enclosed container and store in a clean and dry place away from extreme heat or cold. Keep container clean, covered clean, but do not allow dust, dirt, or foreign material mixed with the lubricants. Keep all lubrications equipment clean and ready for use. Maintain a good record of lubrication performed and report any problems noted during the lubrication. Refer to DA PAM 738750. For maintenance form procedure to report any of the findings. Keep all external parts of the equipment not requiring lubrication, free lubricants before lubrication, wipe lubricating fittings with a clean rag. Item 15, Appendix F. After lubrication, wipe off with excessive oil or grease to prevent accumulation of foreign matter. Refer to FM 9207 lubrication instruction cold weather. Refer to AR 72012 for use of standardized lubrications. 431, general preventive maintenance check services procedures. Always perform preventive maintenance check services in the same order, so it gets in a habit. Once you have some practice, you'll stop at anything wrong in a hurry. And if deficiency discovered, perform appropriate troubleshooting in Section 5 of the shepherding component system is not serviceable over the given service doesn't occur and correct deficiency. Notify the supervisor performing preventive maintenance. Read all the checks required for the applicable intervals of preparing all the tools needed to make all the checks. Have several clean rags. Item 15, Appendix F, for the handy and to perform all inspections. The applicable the interval. Warning sulfates can be easily given and give off the harmful vapors and are harmful to the skin and clothing. To avoid getting injury or death, keep it away from the open fire. Use the well-ventilated area and problems to get skin and clothing. Wash immediately with soap and water. Keep it clean. Dirt, grease, and oil and debris get in the way and may cover up serious problems with cleaning as the work of his need for the use of the clean compound. Item 19, Appendix F, on all metal surfaces. Dishwashing compound on Item 5, Appendix F, and water when with clean rubber and plastic painted surfaces. Deterioration, rust, and corrosion. Be alert of deterioration. Plastic, rubber, materials reported if the supervisor. Check metal for the part of the rust and corrosion. Bare metal with the corrosion exists. Clean. Apply with light cube of lubricating oils. Appendix 13, Appendix F, for the report if your to your supervisor. Bolts, nuts, and screws. Check the bolts, nuts, screws. If the obvious looseness, missing of the bent and broken condition, you can try them with all the tools located with the chip paint and the bare metal with the rust around the bolt. As if one that you think is loose, tighten it. Well as look for loose and chip paint with the rust and gaps where the past parts are welded together. If you find a bad weld, report it to the supervisor. Electronic wires and connectors located with look for cracked, broken insulation, break wires, loose and broken connectors, tight, loose and connectors. Ensure that the wires are in good condition. Fluid leakage, and if necessary for you to know how the fluid leakage affects the status of your trailer. Following definition of the type of the class of leakage you need to know to be able to determine the status of the equipment. Learn to be familiar with them and remember them when in doubt. Notify your supervisor. 431, general preventive maintenance check procedures. Continue to note leakage definitions for the unit preventive maintenance check services. Class 1, leakage indicated with a wet discolorization but not greater enough to perform drops. Class 2, leakage greater enough to perform drops does not cause the drops to drip from an item being checked and inspected. Class 3, leakage greater enough to form drops that fall from the item being checked and inspection. Caution, operation is allowable for the Class 1 and Class 2 leakage. When in doubt, notify the supervisor when operating Class 1 or Class 2 leaks. Check the components more frequently. Class 3 leaks must be reported with immediately. Supervisor failure to do this will result in the damage of to the vehicle or components. Preventive maintenance check service initial setup. General, this paragraph is tools and materials required for the maintenance check service of the lubrication, mandatory requirement, placement parts of preventive maintenance check service lubrication as listed in paragraph 434. Tools, drain pan, general mechanics toolkit, item 5, appendix B, with the section 3, materials corrosion preventive, item 7 of the appendix F, dishwashing compound, item 5, appendix F, detergent, item 8, appendix F, lubricating oil, OEA, item 12 of the appendix F, lubricating oil, OEHGO 10, item 13, appendix F, lubricating oil, OEHGO 30, item 14, appendix F, the drag, item 15, appendix F, the dry cleaning solvent, item 19, appendix F, the personnel, driver, operator, unit maintenance mechanic, lubrication data, OEHDO, military pref 2104G, oil lubricating ice and tactical, expected temperatures, positive 6 degrees Fahrenheit to 120 degrees Fahrenheit and negative degrees 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. WD-40 corrosion prevention. If the refill capacity is required, all temperatures. 434 mandatory replacement parts. No mandatory replacement parts are required for the performing unit preventive maintenance check services. Alright, semi-annual tires, check. Warning, unless otherwise specified, perform all lubrication preventive maintenance checks with the trailer, level the ground, uncouple the brakes. Failure to follow this warning may result in injury due to the death of the personnel. Note, perform all operative preventive maintenance checks, Chapter 2, Section 2, appropriate while performing number 2 checks. Drive at least 5 miles, given enough time to detect the malfunction. Semi-annual tires measure the tread depth. Measure them should be taken at random locations on the tire. Tread depth is less than, not mission capable if the tread depth is less than 16th of an inch. Semi-annual tires rotate matching tires. Semi-annual according to the TM 92610-224. Semi-annual check wheel nut for tightness. Torque nuts at 450 to 500 foot-pounds of torque. 2. Semi-annual item check of the brake air system. Procedure check all hoses, leaks and kinks, bends and cracks, and missing mounting clamps. Item number 3. Semi-annual brakes. Item checks over the check for proper operation. Failure to operate properly out of the adjustment. Check for the proper adjustment. 4. Annual brake linings. Check brake linings for sufficient material. Excessive wear. Annual brake linings. Check brake linings for damage. Excessive damage. 5. Semi-annual brake drums. Visually inspect the brake drums for tracking, scoring, gouging, abnormal wear. Excessive wear, cracks, or damage, not mission capable. Annual brake drums. Measure brake drums to check for the excessive wear. Annual wheel bearings and seals. Remove the wheel bearings. Visually inspect the wear of damage, not mission capable. Excessive wear, damage. Annual wheel bearing or seals. Visually inspect the bearing and seat with the wear of the damage, not mission capable. Excessive wear of damage. Section 5, Unit Troubleshooting Procedures General, 435, 436, Explanation for Columns, 437, Troubleshooting System Index, 430, Table 43, Unit Troubleshooting. This section provides information identifying the correcting malfunction that may find while operating and maintaining the trailer. The Troubleshooting System Index in paragraph 437 is a list for the common malfunctions which occur with the referred to the top of the page of the Table 43 with the troubleshooting procedure. If unaware of the location of any item prevention for the troubleshooting, refer to the paragraph 111 or 2.1 or 3 through 2.3. With the performing the troubleshooting, read all the following safety instruction found with a warning summary within front of the manual. This section cannot list all manual malfunctions that may occur, nor all test and inspection corrective actions. The malfunction not listed, not corrected with listed corrective actions. Notify your supervisor when troubleshooting malfunction. Locate the systems in paragraph 437 to describe the malfunction, and if the appropriate system is not listed, notify the supervisor. Turn to the page for table 4.3 with the troubleshooting procedure of the malfunction question. Describe headings for the top of each of the page. Show how the troubleshooting procedure organized malfunction, test, inspection, and step number, order, and corrective action. 3. Perform each step in the order listed until the malfunction is corrected and the item being inspected operational. Do not perform any maintenance tests unless the troubleshooting procedure tells you to do so. 436, Explanation for columns. Columns, table 4.3 are the defined as follow the malfunction visual operational indication that something is wrong with the equipment. The testing or inspection procedure isolated the problem in the system or component. Corrective action procedure for the correct the problem. 437, Troubleshooting System Index. Kingpin failed in the fifth wheel of 423. Load bed with the board loose 423. Wheel assembly hub generates excessive heat 424. Suspension trailer does not track straight behind prime mover 425. Brakes will not release 425. Brakes grab or bind 426. Brake makes excessive squealing or grinding noise when applied 426. Brakes fail to engage 426. Slow brake application, slow release 426. Brake drum running hot 427. Uneven braking 427. Air system air reserve fail with air 428. Electrical system all lights and are inoperable 428. One or more lights inoperable 429. Hydraulic system gooseneck support cylinders inoperable 429. Platform light cylinders inoperable 430. Alright, malfunction, testing and inspection. The kingpin fails to lock in the fifth wheel. Step 1, check the kingpin for damage. Replace with the kingpin in accordance with the paragraph 310. Step 2, check the air with the kingpin and see with the gooseneck for the damage. Repair with the gooseneck structural nature. The decision to repair must be made at the next higher maintenance level or above. Load bed boards loose. Step 1, check for the missing hardware. Replace hardware in accordance with the paragraph 470. Step 2, check for the warped and damaged boards. Replace in accordance with the paragraph 470. Wheel assembly 1 hub generates excessive heat. And step 1, inspect the hub for damage. Replace the damaged hub in accordance with paragraph 461. Step 2, inspect the hub with the improper binding with excessive end plate with adjusted hub and bearings in accordance with 461 warning. Before putting it on a hand to the hub, hold the hand close to the check for the excessive heat radiation. Hub may be hot. Will prevent the skin burns coming from the hot metal. Step 3, inspect the bearings of the wire damage and replace the damage with the components according to the paragraph 461. Suspension trailer does not track straight behind the primary mover. Step 1, inspect the suspension components for the damage, notify the direct support maintenance. Step 2, inspect the axle for the proper alignment, notify the direct support maintenance. Brakes. Brakes will not release. Check the restriction of the airline hose. If the airline's hose is restricted, replace in accordance with the paragraph 458, and the airline's hose if it's not restricted, proceed to step 2. Step 2, check it to see if the shutoff valve and the towing of the vehicle are open. If the valves are closed, open the shutoff valves. If the valves are open, proceed to step 3. Step 3, check to see if the dump valve is open. The dump valve is open. Close the dump valve if both dump valves are closed. Proceed to step 4. Check with the intervehicular air hose if the proper connection damage is missing. Performing packing. If the hose is improperly connected, connect them properly with the perform packing. The missing damage, replace the packing. If the hoses are properly connected, perform the packing is good. Proceed to step 5. If the electronic control unit valve of the brake in the brake chamber to allow towing of the vehicle, the brake release. The electronic control unit valve with the vent brake chamber air through the exhaust port when the brakes are released. If the air is not vented with the brake chamber, to replace the electronic control unit valve with the accordance with the paragraph 452. Then the electronic control valve of the unit is defective, but the brake chamber is defective. Replace the brake chamber in accordance with the paragraph 453. And then control unit valve with the brake chamber is not defective. Proceed to step 6. Step 6. Check for the wear on the broken shoe for the return spring. With the return spring of the defective, replace the spring with accordance with the 447. If the return spring is not defective, proceed to step 7. Step 7. Check the out of the adjustment. Brake the adjustment in accordance with the paragraph 448. Brakes continue. Brakes grab or bind. Step 1. Inspect the brake shoe for the damage. Excessive wear. Replace with the brake shoes in accordance with paragraph 447. Step 2. Inspect the air brakes of the chamber to replace the air brakes from the accordance with 453. 4 to 3. The brakes make excessive squealing of the grinding noise when applied. Step 1. Inspect the brake drum with the bearing of the damage and notify direct support and maintenance. Step 2. Inspect the brake shoe for the excessive wear. Replace the brake shoes in accordance with paragraph 447. The brakes fail to engage. Step 1. Check with the control blue surface of the airline connection with the glad hand if no air is flowing for the primary mover. The problem is the primary mover. Step 2, inspect the control airline with the damage, replace the repair or replace the airline for the fitting in accordance with the 458. Step 4, and Step 3, inspect the branch spring brake control valve with the proper function, replace the valve in accordance with the paragraph 4451. Step 4, check the proper function of the brakes, adjust the brakes in accordance with the paragraph 448. Check the braking system hardware with the damage of the missing components, replace the brake system if necessary. 5, slow brake application, slow release. Step 1, check with the restriction in the airline hoses. If the airline hoses are restricted, place in accordance with the paragraph 458. If the airline's hoses are not restricted, proceed to Step 2. Step 2, check the electronic control unit valve of the operation. Electronic control unit valve is not defective. AW perform paragraph 451A. If the replace electronic control unit valve in accordance with paragraph 452. If the electronic control valve is not defective, proceed to Step 3. Step 3, check for the worn broken brake shoe. If there's a return spring of the defective, replace in accordance with paragraph 447. The return of the spring is not defective, proceed to Step 4. Step 4, check the defective air chamber. If the air chamber is defective, replace the air brake chamber in accordance with paragraph 453. If the brake chamber is not defective, proceed to Step 5. 5. Step from lower pressure. To perform the leakage test to prepare the replace the leak air lines of the connection with the accordance with paragraph 458. Brake drum running hot. Check with the brake adjustment. Step 1. If the brakes are out, adjust the brakes in accordance with paragraph 448. If the brakes during the adjustment is correct, proceed to Step 2. Step 2. Check with the wear and broken brake shoe return spring of the wear or broken and replace with the return spring in accordance with paragraph 447. The return spring is not defective, proceed to Step 5. Step 3. Check out the outround brake notify the direct support maintenance. Uneven braking. Step 1. Check the brake adjustment. If the brake is out of adjustment, adjust the brake in accordance with paragraph 448. If the brake adjustment is correct, proceed to Step 2. Step 2. Check the grease from the braking lining. If the grease presents the release, replace the grease sealed braking lining in accordance with paragraph 447. Air system. The air reserve failed to fill with air with Step 1. Inspect the reserve of the drain valve and open with the closed. If open, close the drain valve. If damage, repair in accordance with paragraph 457. Step. Inspect the parking brake with the primary mover, then engage with the releasing parking brake. And Step 3. Inspect the glad hand. The damage, incorrect coupling, disconnect, inspect the reconnecting glands. If the damage, repair in accordance with paragraph 450. Step 4. Inspecting airline's connection with the leak spray. Feel for the escaping air, but then use the soap with the water solution to detect the leak. Tighten the connection, repair airline with the connection according to the paragraph 458 and 459. Step 5. Inspect the air reserve of the damaged leak. Tighten the connection, replace them, repair and replace reservoirs in accordance with the paragraph 454 and 55. Electrical system warning. With a troubleshooting electrical malfunction of performing electrical maintenance, always disconnect the inter-vehicle electrical cable to towing the vehicle. Failure to do so would result in injury due to death to electrical shock. All lights are inoperable. Step 1. Check with the trailer with the gooseneck electrical connection with the dirty, corroded, damaged pins. Check the connection in accordance with the paragraph 35. If the damage, repair in accordance with the paragraph 444. Step 2. Check the primary mover of the electrical connection cable to the receptacle, reconnect the cable if not properly connected. If the primary mover has no power, consult with the appropriate TM for the troubleshooting. Electrical system continue when warning when troubleshooting electrical malfunction for the performing electrical maintenance all with a disconnected internal vehicle electrical cable with the towing vehicle. The failure to do so may result in injury to death due to the electrical shock. 2. One or more lights are inoperable. Check for the burnout, the defective LED lights for the play for the light in accordance with the paragraph 441, 40, 42, and 43. The check of the receptacle, proper the voltage receptacle if the low, this is the low cleaner receptacle wires in accordance with paragraph 35. If the voltage is no, step 3, if there is no power receptacle, unplug with the wire receptacle. Check for the proper voltage in accordance with paragraph 440 and 44.5. If the proper voltage exists, replace the receptacle with the paragraph 439 or 440. Step 4, if there's no power at the wires, test the voltage. Next checkpoint, see the schematic paragraph 445. Step 5, if the proper voltage exists, check with the breakage of the damaged wire with the test point with the replace the wiring in accordance with paragraph 444. Step 6, if there's no power at the checkpoint, continue to the next checkpoint. Continue testing until the 24 volts of receptacle. To repair the replace the wires required in accordance with paragraph 444. Hydraulic system reading of the 2500 psi is only with the gauge. With the hydraulic control for the U of the reading will drop. The 500 psi will everything disengage. The psi will vary due to low hydraulic pressure will vary from 300 to 2500 psi. Under the normal operation will reach the maximum of 2500 to 2800 psi under the full load. Gooseneck lift cylinders inoperable. Step 1, check for the leaks. Notify the direct support maintenance for the cylinder replacement. Step 2, check the hydraulic pressure setting. If the pressure is low, the setting hydraulic pressure is in accordance with paragraph 461. Check the throttle and valve for obstruction. If the throttle valve is clogged and clean, throttle within accordance with paragraph 461. Check for the cylinder for the internal leaks. Valve. Retract cylinder rod. Disconnect the cap handle hydraulic hose cap on the outside for the rod and cylinder port. Warning: do not exceed 3,000 psi. After years injury, death may occur if the pressure exceeds 3,000 psi. Apply pressure of the rod end of the port with the inspected leakage out of the open port. Small drip of more than 10 seconds apart with the acceptable. If more significant leakage is present, notify the direct support maintenance for the cylinder replacement. 2. The platform lift cylinders are inoperable. Step 1, check for the leaks. Notify the direct support maintenance cylinder replacement. Step 2, check hydraulic pressure setting. Note that the 2500 psi is only one on gauge with a hydraulic controller and use the reading of the top of the 500 psi level is disengaged. The psi will vary due to the hydraulic pressure will vary from 300 to 250 psi with the normal operation. The reach of the maximum of 2500 2800 psi under full load. If the hydraulic pressure is set with the hydraulic pressure in accordance with paragraph 467. Alright, hydraulic system continues. Step 3, the hydraulic pressure relief valve pressure setting with a disconnected gooseneck from the primary. Move the refer to paragraph 218 lower platform with the ground. Keep it in the lower engage with until the cylinder dead ends of the chapter. Check the PSI reading the 2500 PSI only on the gauge for the hydraulic controls are in use. The readings will drop to 500 PSI whenever the lever is disengaged. PSI will vary due to limit load. The hydraulic pressure will vary from 300 to 2500 PSI under normal condition with the reach of maximum of 2500 to 2800 under full load. If the PSI reads more than 300 to 500 PSI, reset the hydraulic pressure in reference paragraph 467. Step 4, check the throttle with the obstruction if the throttle is clogged with the clean throttle in accordance with paragraph 465. Step 5, check the cylinder for the internal leaks for the retract of the cylinder rod with the disconnect of the cap hydraulic hose with the opposite of the rod end cylinder port. Apply pressure to the rod end port with the inspect the leakage of the open port. Small drips more than 10 seconds apart more acceptable. Warning: do not exceed 3,000 psi. Serious injury of the death may occur with if the pressure exceeds 3,000 psi. If the more significant leakage is present, notify direct support maintenance for the cylinder replacement. Alright, step 6. Electrical system maintenance. 438 general. 439 front and rear 24 volt receptacle replacement. 440 12 volt receptacle replacement. 441 tail light replacement. 424 clear running light replacement typical. And 443 there's a blackout lights replacement. 444 wire harness replacement and repair. 444 wire diagram. 438 general warning: remove all the trail power prior to the marking of the repair of the electronic system. Failure to do so may result in the serious injury or death. M870A3 in the trailer is equipped with a 2-inch vehicular cable receptacle located in the front of the trailer. The 12-pin and the 20-volt receptacle is located in the right end with over the 7-pin 12-volt receptacle. The M80A3 is equipped with 4 tail lights, 2 on each side of the outer set of the tail lights, include the both turn signals and running lights with the inner set with the tail lights, include the brake lights and the running lights. The MHET trailer is equipped with two rear blackout lights, one each of the side. Each of the blackout lights include the running lights of the back lights, the turning signals on both left and right, the amber clearance lights located on each of the front of the core of the trailer side on each side of the midpoint of the trailer. The red clearance lights are located on each side of the rear of the trailer. Three red running lights are located in the center of the rear of the trailer, and an amber ABS light is located on the right rear corner of the trailer. Refer to the wiregram in paragraph 445 for locating undamaged disconnected wires. 439 front and rear 24 vehicle receptacle replacement. This task covers removal, installation, equipment condition trailer parked with the lower ground brakes engaged with wheels, shock with a gooseneck, travel guard, remove the materials not self-locking. 4 tool test equipment, mechanicals general NS 58001777033, shop equipment common set number 1 NSN 491007540654, general safety instruction, remove all the power with the trailer prior to making any repairs to the electrical system. Removal, lower the trailer ground with the raise the platform level to allow the gooseneck to drop to the lower position. Warning, remove all the power trailer prior to making any of the repairs to the electrical system. Failure to do so may result in serious injury to death. Secure the kingpin stowage of the box and by lid prior to the removal of the 24-volt receptacle. Failure to do so may result in serious injury. Note for the front 24-volt receptacle follow steps 1 through 3. For the rear 24-volt receptacle, step 4 through 8. Alright, steps 1 through 3. Remove the nut 18 and clamp 19. Remove the keeper pin to unplug the receptacle. Harness 16. Remove the 4-bolt self-knocking nuts. 17. Washer 14. Receptacle 15 from the frame 9. Discard self-locking nuts. Warning, failure to lower the traffic ground on allowing the goosenecks to fully lower more serious injury to death and personnel. 5. Remove the 2 nuts with the 2 clamps. The 4 zip ties and then securing the harness. Remove the 4 bolts. 12 of the self-locking nuts. 8. The flash wire 11. Separate receptacle 10 from the frame 9 and discard self-locking nuts. 7. Remove the keeper tube with the unplug the harness. 7. And remove the gooseneck or remove the grommet with the 5 from the gooseneck. This shows your parts from the ending of the removing the front end of the 20 front and rear end of the 28-volt receptacle. Alright, installation from the front 24-volt receptacle follow step 1 through 4 for the rear volt 24-volt step 3, 5 through 8. The position receptacle harness 16 on the goose frame with the 4 place the receptacle harness 16 the main wire harness. Install the keeper 20 with install the clamp 19 and nut 18. Position the receptacle cover 15 on the gooseneck frame 9 with the screw of the 4 screw with the 13 washer the 4 screw 13 washers 14 new self-locking nut 17. Install the receptacle harness with the 7 in the gooseneck harness frame with the 3 from the grommet 5 and install the grommets 5. 6. Connect the receptacle harness with the main frame and install the keeper pin 2 with the notify the beach receptacle with the install with the key wave in down position. 7. Install the receptacle cover 10 with the goose frame 9 with the install the 4 bolts 12 with the washer 11 the nut self-locking nuts 8 with install the 2 clamps and 2 nuts 6 and 2 nuts 4 with the 4 zip ties 3. Alright, front rear and volt receptacle replacement. Rear receptacle replacement. Follow on task. Check out the proper operation of the lights. 440 12-volt receptacle replacement. A removal and installation. Equipment trailer parked on the level of the ground. Brake engaged with the wheels. Chock with the test tool kit. The mechanics general. Material parts. The marker tags. Nuts self-locking. Nuts self-locking. General safety instruction. Removal of all the power trailer prior to marking any repairs electrical system. A removal. The warning. Remove all the power of the trailer prior to making the repairs electrical system. Failure to do so may result in serious injury or death. Slide boot with off of the connector 5 with the receptacle 6. Remove the self-knocking nuts 1 with the rear receptacle 6. Turn off the connector 5 with the clockwise. Remove the receptacle 6. Tag and disconnect the wire 4s and the connector 5. Remove the tabs 2 screws 8 and washer 7 and receptacle 6 from the gooseneck 2 with the discard of the self-locking nuts. Installation. Position the receptacle 6 on the gooseneck tube with the screw with the 2 screws 8 and then washer 7 within the new self-locking nuts 1 with the connect the wires 4 with the connector 5 with the pair wire tags 3. Insert the connector with the 5 with the replace the receptacle 6 and then turn out the clockwise and 7 4 slide the boot 3 over the connector 5. This is the 412-volt replacement following test. Check of the electrical system for proper operation. Tail light replacement, removal, installation, equipment condition, trailer park from level ground, brakes engaged and wheels shocked. General safety instruction, remove all the power over the trailer prior to making any repair for the electrical system. Removal the warning, remove all the power of the trailer prior to making any repairs on the electrical system. To do so may result in a serious injury or death. Push the tail lights lens 1 inward until the push of the rubber grommet 2 falls into the trailer body. Separately withdraw the grommet 2 with the lens through the tail light monitoring opening. Release the electrical connector to the locking tab 4. The separate lens from the connector 3. Installation: position the rubber grommet tube in the tail light mounting the operating with the rotate the grommet is over the word with the top is the uppermost. Connect your electrical connector 3 with the rear of the tail light 1 with the securing the lock nut tab 4 with the line of the tail light with the electrical connector at the bottom of the bullet. Push the line of the grommet until the seat is in place. Note: lens should be evenly aligned with the grommet before pushing the liquid soap with maybe used to lubricate the grommet. Following on the task, check the electrical system for proper operation. Clearance and running lights replacement. Typical of this task covers the removal of the insulation equipment of the trailer park with the level of the ground, the brakes for the gauge for the wheels, chuck for the tools kit, mechanical, general safety instruction. Remove all the power of the trailer prior to making any repairs to the electrical system. Warning: remove all the power trailer onto the trailer prior to making any of the repairs to the electrical system. Failure to do so may result in serious injury or death. Grasp clearance with the light and lens with 1 or 6. If the work with the prior lens away from the surroundings 2 or 7, then release the locking tabs 5 of the present of the discharge and clearance of the light lens for 1 or 6 from electrical connector 3 or 4. B. Installation. Connecting electrical connector 3 and 4 with the rear with the clearance for the light lens for 1 and 6 with the check of the locking tab with the 5 with the present engaged plus and position clearance of the light lens for 1 and 6 onto the grommet 2 and 7, then evenly push on the lens until the seat is in place. Note that the facility seating of the lens for the grommet liquid soap may be used to lubricate the grommet. Clearance and running light replacement typical continued. This showed the replacement of the light. Check the following test. Check the electrical system for proper operation. 443 blackout light replacement. This task covers the removal of the insulation equipment, condition, tail light removed, the material parts, lock washer, the toolkit, mechanical, general safety instruction. Remove all the power of the trailer prior to making any repairs to the electrical system. Remove all the power of the power to the trailer prior to making any of the repairs to the electrical system. Failure to do so may result in serious injury or death. But note, the removal of the blackout lights required with the initial removal of the outer tail lights, the gain for the exit of the blackout lights movement, running this electronical harness and clips. Remove 2 11/32" nuts for the 5, the lock washers 5, the lock washers 4 with the hold the light, backlight 1 of the trailer frame 2 with the discarded nuts and lock washers. Partially pull the blackout light 1 away from the tail frame 2 with the disconnect the connectors 3 and 6 for the main wire and harness 4. Complete the removal of the blackout light from the trailer. Installation. Thread the blackout lights where the trailer mounting the hold of the trailer. Electronic harness clips of the connector to the blackout light and harness connector 3 and 6. Secure that harness and clip in position. Position the blackout 1 in the trailer frame 2. Secure with the 2 nuts 5, and the lock washers 4. And then it says, following test, install the tail light assembly reference paragraph 441. Check the electrical system with the proper operation. Alright, 444, wiring harness replacement and repair. Task to recover the repair and replacement of the equipment condition. The trailer is parked on level of the ground, the brakes are engaged, and wheels are chocked. Materials part of the tie and plastic, item 24, appendix 5. The toolkit's mechanical, general shopping equipment, common set number 1. General system instruction, remove all the power trailer prior to making any repairs to the electrical system. Warning, remove all the power to trailer prior to making any repairs on the electrical system. Failure to do so may result in serious injury or death. Note, warning, harness can be replaced or repaired depending on the type of the damage. Broken wires can be sliced and sealed. Heat strength and tubing and electrical tape. See paragraph 417 of the technical wiring and hood for 418, soldering 419, heat shrinking tube 420, electrical ground points and general wiring harness maintenance instructions. Replacement and repair. The wiring harnesses are not ordinarily removed except that they are bodily damaged and must be replaced with the wiring harness connection must be tightly attached and connected with see the diagram paragraph 445 with additional information. Following on the task, check the electrical system for proper operation. Alright, this shows your 12 volts, 12-way connector. A is the blackout left turn light. B is the left turn light. The blackout. C is the blackout right turn light and tail. D is the ground. E is the tail light. F is the blackout stop. H is the stop light. J is the right turn lights. K is not used. L is marked lights. M is constant air ABS power, and N is not used. And then goes orange, yellow, purple, white, brown, gray, red, and green, and black and blue. 24 volt is the A, black left turn out tail. C is the black right turn tail, right turn tail, and F is the blackout stop. That goes orange, purple, white, gray. Your 12 volt 7-way connector ground is white, side marker light. It's black left turn lights, yellow stop lights, red turn lights, green tail lights, brown, and constant ABS power blue. This is the gooseneck harness. 445 wiring diagram continued. Shows the trailer harness for the 12 volt, 24 volt, 12-way connector. The black light left turn tail, the orange 24 volt, left turn tail light, yellow 24 volt, black right turn tail, purple 12 volt, ground white, and tail lights brown 12 volt, blackout stop gray 24 volt, stop light red 12 volt, right turn lights green 12 volt, marker lights black 12 volt, and constant ABS power blue 12 volt. Alright, section 5, brake system and maintenance. I'm gonna cut the tape.